Okay, guys, welcome back to English 101 in my backyard, which is pretty entertaining. I got a selfie stick and a cool coat. All right. Um, so before I start going, I'm going to go back into, obviously, we're going to keep going with Phaedrus and Socrates and all this stuff that we've been doing. I'm getting pretty excited, by the way, because we're close to finishing it. I kind of, in the beginning, wasn't sure we would do that. But I wanted to put some things in this video just at the beginning, just to kind of give you guys a recap of some things. I'm going to try to remind you about this every class. So there are 4 papers for this semester total. One of them you've probably already done, which is the one in-class essay that we had before we all disappeared into our homes. Um, the 4th one you don't really need to worry about yet. It's about food, and those essays by David Foster Wallace and Michael Pollan that I gave you. I recommend you read those pieces and take some notes on them and look up words you don't know and try to understand them and read them again. But that's going to be an in-class essay that you're going to take on Blackboard in some form, like May 14th, around then. So paper 1 you've done. Paper 1 you've done, and paper 4 is going to be an in-class essay on some essays that you already have. If you don't have those, email me. I'll email them to you. The papers 2 and 3. Paper 2 is currently available on the blog, so you can go on there and you can read it and you can do it. So anytime you want. I don't really have due dates anymore because everyone's lives are so chaotic. I'm not going to be like, son of a bitch, you turned it in late. So do it when you can do it. I'd love to get your things before May 14th, but so try to give me paper 2. That's I've got some questions for you on Phaedrus, and you pick one to answer, and you answer it, and you send the paper in to me. Pretty easy. Paper 3, you also already have. That is the research paper. It's in the syllabus. No, it's not in the syllabus. I gave it to you before we went on break. So if you need a copy of the paper 3 assignment, you email me. I'll email it to you. It's basically exactly like paper 1 and 2, except you pick different quotes and you talk about them. And you do a little bit of research. And we had a whole class on how to do research, so you know how to do that. If you've forgotten, by the way, another class of mine is going to need a lesson on that. And so that will be available. I'm going to make a YouTube video teaching you how to do research. So that's actually lucky for you. If you missed that day or if you forgot that day, I'm going to be doing it online for my 201 students, but I will tag you guys in the thing so you can also have a copy of that, basically, since it's a lesson that has to do with you directly. So that's really it. There's 4 papers total that I need by the end of the semester if you want to pass the class. You may also get an incomplete and do it later. But basically what you're going to do, you have paper 1 is done. Feel free to send me a rewrite on paper 1 to raise the grade. Paper 2 is on the blog. You have it. Paper 3 I gave you before we left, but if you don't have a copy, email me and I'll email it to you. Maybe I'll put it up on the blog myself. And then paper 4 is about the David Foster Wallace and Pollan articles. So read those, and there'll be upcoming videos on those. So those are your papers. If you need to pass the class, you're going to need to turn in all 4 of them. Also, passing the class. There's a thing, you've probably heard about it, I mentioned it before. It's called credit, no credit, also known as pass-fail. What this means is you can declare this semester, it's like a special thing this semester, you can declare your classes pass-fail, which means instead of getting a grade, you're going to either pass the course or you're not going to pass the course. Meaning if you get a D and the guy next to you gets an A and you both declared pass-fail, then you both just get a P for pass. Meaning that and nobody can tell the difference between your D and the guy next to you's A. Pass-fail works like this. If the pass-fail is 6, if you pass the class, then you get credit toward graduation and you're ready to take the next class, in this case English 201, and you're ready to go. If you don't pass the class, then you do have to take it again. But here's the tricky part. This is the cool part. If you declare it pass-fail, whatever happens, it will not affect your GPA. So your GPA will not go up or down if you declare this class pass-fail. I highly recommend you declare this class pass-fail. Unless you're like heading towards an A and you feel confident about that. Here's the thing. If you feel like you're going to get a lower grade than you want in this class, I recommend you declare the class pass-fail, aka credit, no credit. That's what they're calling it. I keep calling it pass-fail, but it's called credit, no credit. So, do that, and I think that's going to make your life so much easier. Plus, it's going to reduce stress, because in order to pass my class, all you have to do, if you turn those 4 papers in, and all 4 papers have your opinion supported by some evidence, and they're like a little more than half the length I'm asking you for, you gotta pass. So I would try to get them to me, but it's pretty easy. Obviously, I'm going to be grading as kindly as I can, because really the only way to fail my class is if you don't turn shit in. So, and that's why I'm reminding you, 4 papers. So, okay, I think that's it for announcements, and I'll do some more on that later. Okay, cool. Well, what shall we do now? I think we're going to go back into Plato and talk about Plato and Phaedrus some more. Guys, there are 3 pages left in this book of philosophy. So, I don't know. I'm very excited about it. This is very fucking cool. Let's see. So last time, actually, so before I put the images on screen, before I put the text on screen, the last time we were talking about Socrates was looking at Lysias. Socrates has been saying, all right, we started out with Lysias, who had a speech. Phaedrus had a speech by Lysias. And in that speech, Lysias argued for this crazy thing. He said, you should, marry somebody who doesn't love you, which is crazy. And then Socrates made a similar speech, and then he felt bad about it, and he made because he was saying negative things about love, he made a gigantic speech saying good things about love. And then in the last section, him and Phaedrus sit around talking about writing. What makes writing good? What makes it bad? And one of the things Socrates is concerned with, the main thing actually he's concerned with, is that these people who have these writing schools, and this is called rhetoric, these are the Sophists, this is Lysias, these people, they'll teach you how to write an essay, but what they're really teaching you to do is how to persuade people to agree with you, which sounds nice, right? You want to be able to talk to people and have them believe you. That's awesome. But the thing about what they're doing that's wrong, what Socrates says, is they're only interested in convincing people. They don't care whether what you say is true or not. And you'll remember that speech that Lysias gave about how you should marry someone who you're not in love with. It was an interesting speech. I don't think it's true. And they don't care whether it's true or not. He just wanted to write an interesting speech, and that was an interesting subject, got your attention. Is it true that you should marry someone who's not in love with you? I don't know if that's good advice. But the thing about, again, the Sophists, the rhetoric, Lysias, they don't care about that stuff. They just want to convince people to agree with them. It's like a game. They're like, look at me, I'm a used car salesman. I can sell anything. Look what a good salesman are. I can sell people garbage. Look what a great speechwriter are. I can convince people to marry people that don't love them. Isn't that crazy? And so that's where Socrates and Phaedrus are discussing this. For Socrates, this is a life or death issue. This is a huge deal. This isn't some minor little thing. This isn't like, look at these jerks over here in their stupid school where they teach you how to be clever, and they teach you how to use words to convince people, and they teach you how to manipulate people. This isn't some minor group that's annoying him. For Socrates, it's like a religious war. And Socrates is after the truth. He wants to use philosophy to get to the truth. And truth and beauty and justice and all the things in life that he says matter, and love. Truth and beauty and love and justice. He wants to really, he's really fighting a war to convince people to care about what really matters in life. And so for him, Lysias, the group that cares about rhetoric, also known as the Sophists, that group is undermining and destroying him, because they're telling people truth doesn't matter. They're telling people, look, as long as you can get people to agree with you, as long as you can convince people to vote your way, as long as you can convince people to declare you not guilty in a trial, you win. And they don't care whether or not the truth has been reached, because they don't think the purpose of a trial is to discover the truth. They think the purpose of a trial is to get your client off, regardless. And for Socrates, this is like the end of the fucking world. It's like these people, Socrates has dedicated his life to the truth, to beauty, to love, to justice. And these people, Lysias, rhetoric, Sophists, these are the groups. Lysias is the name of the guy, and Sophists is the name of the group, and rhetoric is what they do. They are undermining and destroying everything he believes in. They're going against, it's like a rival religion. Like, they're going against him because they're saying truth doesn't matter. And it does. And they're saying love doesn't matter. Look at Lysias's opening speech. And love does matter. And they're saying beauty doesn't matter. They just want to convince people. They don't care about justice. They just care about, winning a trial, convincing a judge. And so Socrates is just driven crazy by this. And that's really what's at stake in this last section, is that this is not just Socrates bitching and moaning. This is a fundamental war of ideas. And you guys, because of me, are now in the middle of that war of ideas. I'll take you up on the next video.